Hello everyone, I'm Max, and today I'm here to maximize your fear. Brand new Bigfoot footage that's shocking the world. Today we take a look at new Bigfoot footage and sightings coming from Ohio, Canada, and many other places with very convincing evidence. From HD Sasquatch trail camera videos to Bigfoot hunting clips and so much more. Also stay tuned for a special and crazy nature clip at the end of this video. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. So grab your I Found Bigfoot coffee mugs and allow your fear to be maximized as we recap the best Bigfoot clips of all time. This is some of the best Bigfoot evidence of all time. A man goes out hunting in Salt Fork State Park in Ohio when he spots a huge Sasquatch-like creature. He then zooms in and gets some pretty amazing footage of it. Take a look.
It's the Ohio Grassman. You'd be stupid to walk out here in a suit. Get shot. It's right behind that tree. The big. Look. And his hair's gray and black. Is that gray? Is that snow? Or brown? Gray? Can't tell.
As he zooms in, a tall, ape-like beast is seen hiding within the trees. It even begins growling and grunting, probably warning the hunter to leave. In this shot here, we get the best feel for its size. It's absolutely massive as it walks away and tries to duck behind more trees. This Ohioan hunter believes wholeheartedly that this was a Bigfoot. He says someone would be stupid to wear a suit and come out here. They would get shot because it's a known hunting ground. He also explains that it didn't look like any suit to him. It looked to be the real deal, especially considering its gigantic size. At one point, we hear the hunter refer to the creature as the Ohio Grassman. The Ohio Grassman is a legendary ape-like creature said to roam the grasslands, forests, and rural areas of Ohio, particularly in the eastern and southeastern parts of the state. Though often considered to be a cousin to Bigfoot, the Grassman has unique characteristics and stories attached to its name. The creature earned the name Grassman because, according to local folklore, it builds nests or small huts from tall grasses and branches, and is sometimes spotted grazing on wild grains or grass. Early stories from Ohio's settlers and farmers spoke of strange structures found in fields and eerie cries echoing through the forests. The earliest recorded encounter dates back to 1869 in Gallia County, Ohio, where a witness claimed to have seen a massive, hairy, bipedal creature. Similar stories popped up over the following decades, usually near farmland and forests. One of the most modern incidents occurred in 1978 in Minerva, Ohio. The Minerva monster case involved multiple members of the Caton family, who claimed to see a large, hairy creature near a gravel pit behind their home. They described it as around 7 feet tall, over 300 pounds, with a terrible stench. It frightened their grandchildren and their pets, and it even led to a dog's unexplained death. Multiple law enforcement visits failed to capture any evidence, though the family claimed to find large footprints behind their home and hear strange vocalizations. So what do you all think of the Ohio Grassman? Is it real? And is this newer footage from Salt Fork, Ohio real? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's go ahead and take a look at an up-close trail camera capture of a supposed Bigfoot. It was allegedly taken on a wildlife biologist's camera. The location, unlisted, is believed to be deep in the forests of North America. The biologist had the camera out there to photograph and study the animals in the area. Little did he know he would capture an unknown animal. The close-up picture shows the head of a Sasquatch-like creature. The camera was placed high in a tree, angled downwards, so it would be more stealthy and blend in up there. and apparently it was stealthy enough to go unnoticed by a Bigfoot until it was too late. It looks like in the photo the creature is moving slightly and looking directly into the camera. Analyzing facial features, its nose is very huge and wide, a trait often found in Bigfoots. It also has dark, human-like eyes that seem to reflect the light in the night. It also looks to have a beard, with shaggy hair covering majority of its head and face. And it has a human-like straight mouth. Now it certainly does look like a Bigfoot, and it's a pretty clear capture. The only thing that could really make this one better is if the trail camera was aiming more downwards, so then it would have captured the entirety of the being. Or if it even snapped a burst of photos, like a lot of trail cameras do. So then it would have captured 3 or more pictures of it, giving us more evidence to look at. We also don't know where exactly it was captured, and the name of the biologist, likely because he wanted to remain anonymous. Which is honestly what tends to happen with a lot of these cryptid creature sightings or Bigfoot sightings all around the internet. People just don't want to be named and they don't want people to know where they live and stuff like that, which is honestly kind of understandable. Regardless, it's still some pretty cool evidence. Some evidence I'm sure the trail camera owner did not expect in the slightest. This alarming brand new video was just released on June 20th, 2025. It comes from the Appalachian Mountains. The caption reads, "Never in my life have I ever experienced anything remotely similar to this. Neither has my grandson. We need to know what's going on." The uploader also states in the caption, "This is my neighbor who trespasses all the time. They saw me on the way back and lunged at me and tried to grab my camera or me. They do not speak and they do not respond." This honestly doesn't look like any neighbor to me. Let me know what you guys think. We see a dark, hairy, small, humanoid creature running through the forest right in front of him as he's trying to hide. It has a very strange, hunched gait, almost like it's injured or something. Then it runs right in front of the man. It sits and stares at him for a few seconds, then it lunges at him, and the video cuts off. Online viewers are losing their minds over this one. One commenter says, "Those are not human noises." While others are saying to call the police and never go back into the forest again. Many people are saying this is either a feral person, a member of a lost tribe, or some kind of baby sasquatch species. The idea of lost tribes or feral, isolated human groups living in the remote Appalachian Mountains has existed in regional lore for centuries. While no verified evidence supports the existence of truly feral human tribes cut off from society in modern times, the Appalachian with their rugged, sprawling wilderness and deeply isolated hollers have always inspired stories of hidden people, wild men, and lost communities. Before European settlers arrived, various indigenous groups like the Cherokee, Shawnee, Creek, and others had legends of little people, spirits, and lost tribes living deep in the forests or mountains. Often reclusive, mischievous, or dangerous. The Cherokee spoke of Yunwi Sunsti, small secretive beings living in remote mountain regions. Some lore also mention giant races or ancient tribes wiped out or driven into the wilderness by conflict or disaster. So could this be what it is? A member of a lost tribe, or maybe even a sasquatch of some kind? No matter what it is, it's one of the more mysterious and just downright unsettling videos we've ever seen. A video that raises more questions than answers. Back onto the topic of the Grassman Bigfoot, this is a supposed picture taken by a trail camera of one of these Grassman Bigfoots. The solo picture was taken back on April 22nd, 2020. But even though it was taken a little over 5 years ago, it hasn't been seen by many and it remains exclusive. Until now. Let's take a look. The trail camera image taken at 6:27 a.m. shows a mossy or hairy-looking creature. It's just leaning on and hiding behind a tree with its arm raised out to the side. Now the biggest debate with this one is whether it's a real Grassman Sasquatch-like creature or if it's just someone in a ghillie suit. A ghillie suit is a type of full-body camouflage clothing designed to help the wearer blend seamlessly into natural surroundings like forests, grasslands, or marshes. They're typically worn by hunters or anyone trying to blend into the woods. The overall look is a shaggy, irregular, three-dimensional camouflage suit that breaks up the wearer's outline and lets them disappear into their environment. It looks pretty similar to the trail cam photo here. And because there aren't too many details relayed with this one, we can't tell for sure. Could this have just been a hunter or a real unknown creature? It does look kind of strange and non-human-like though, the way it's hiding behind the tree. And if it were a hunter, don't you think we'd see a firearm with them? I don't know. I'll leave this one up to you guys to decide. Based on everything I said here, what do you guys think? Let's go ahead and continue this debate in the comments section down below. Here is some amazing and newer Bigfoot evidence. A man has two game trails in the forest behind his home. One is on one side and one is on the other. And typically he'll see deer and other small game roaming through these trails. And he'll often go out and just see their footprints and make a mental note of them. But on this snowy January day, as he was out there on his trails, he saw different kinds of footprints, large human-like footprints.
So those are the footprints. There is the footprints right there. There's my glove next to one of the footprints.
So that's pretty big, huh?
Those are big Carhartt gloves. That's the trackway.
They're in line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toe to toe is 44 inches. Well, here's right here. Maybe 42 inches. That's the trackway right there.
That's cool shot right there.
Yeah.
He shows us the prints that were reportedly measured around 16 inches. He also measures the strides and tells us that toe to toe measures at around 44 inches, which is a rather long stride. Along with these footprints, he reports hearing strange wood knocks and even hearing loud footsteps. Listen as he recalls the strange activity he's been experiencing.
And then I've had wood knocks since, and I've heard footsteps in the back of my property. I could hear the footsteps and the crunching of the snow, but I could feel the impact. Not in the ground, but it was, I don't know how to explain it.
No, it was like a concussive feeling in the chest.
I couldn't feel it on the ground, but I could feel it through the air or something.
You know,
With all of this, he reflects on his first ever supposed Bigfoot experience. As we can tell, he lives in a very rural and desolate place. He says he was outside late at night in the dead of winter. It was a cold and snowy night. He remembered it being particularly dark this night, with no moonlight shining down or anything. He and his dogs were outside when he scans his surroundings, and towards the back of his property he sees a gigantic pair of eyes. So he shines his flashlight at it and it just stands there frozen. It just stands there looking at him. The creature was partially obscured by some foliage, so he could really only see its face and eyes, but he says the creature just stood there still and just stared at him for like 5 to 10 minutes. And then eventually he and his dogs decided to go back inside. And when they came back out later, of course it was gone. So wherever this guy lives, it seems it's a place where Bigfoots roam. A place remote enough for them to survive and thrive out there, going almost undetected by humans, except for this guy though. Alright, we're looking at more footage coming from a remote forest property. A family lives here, and they almost love everything about the property. The privacy, the untapped wilderness, it's like their own private getaway. However, the only downside is because they're in such a rural place, they have no idea what all lurks in the forests surrounding. Maybe cryptid creatures, mutated animals, undiscovered species. Because of this, they have a security camera installed. And in broad daylight in the middle of the day, they captured this. The security camera began recording as this dark, humanoid creature slowly moves in the distance. The family is both terrified and curious about what they captured this day. They believe it could be evidence that Bigfoots exist. Even though the footage is pretty blurry, it's still some pretty good evidence. We can still tell the size of this thing is larger than a typical person. And it of course has the trademark Bigfoot dome-shaped head. And while many Bigfoot sightings happen deep in national parks or along remote trails, some of the most famous and chilling encounters have taken place right on private, rural, forested properties, just like this one. These are often the creepiest because they happen near barns, farms, or fields, and homes and family cabins, blurring the lines between wilderness and civilization. The following strange encounter occurred in 2023. A couple were out hiking when they began to hear some very strange noises. Noises they had never heard before and that they couldn't explain. So one of them got their phone out and began recording to document their eerie encounter. We hear strange clicking sounds that are hard to describe. Now, a lot of people were quick to jump to the conclusion that it was Bigfoot, because they're known to make weird noises like whooping, clicking, and knocking to communicate with other Bigfoots. However, it seems people were too quick to jump to conclusions because many commenters pointed out that it closely resembles the sound that ravens make. Ravens often produce knock 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 or clack clack sounds by clicking their beaks, often used for close range communication or courtship and bonding. So it seems this one was just a false alarm and it really is just a raven making the noises. Even though we can't see whatever is making the noises, I think it's safe to conclude this isn't anything out of the ordinary. A lot of times people will mistake animal calls and sounds with unknown creatures. For example, bobcats. Bobcats make some of the most unnerving, eerie, and downright disturbing sounds you can hear in North American forests, especially at night. A lot of people unfamiliar with them mistake these sounds for everything from screaming women to banshees to demons or even cryptids. Bobcats can emit blood-curdling, high-pitched screams that sound unnervingly human. These are most often heard during mating season as males and females call to each other, or in aggressive confrontations between rivals. I actually remember one time I heard a couple bobcats fighting in the forest. I was at my grandma's house, which is completely surrounded by woods, and we could just hear them pretty close to the edge of the forest, and it was seriously some of the scariest sounds I've ever heard in my life. It literally sounded like a girl was getting murdered in the forest or something, like blood-curdling screams. The screams really are human-like and just spine-chilling. So if you ever hear anything strange out in the forest, just remember it could be a wild animal, but sometimes it's not.
What is it doing?
Alright, I think it's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, go ahead and smash the like button's mom. Let's aim for 5,000 likes for another one of these scary Bigfoot videos. And if you want to get to know me more, you want to see more of my spooky content, you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram, Maxwell Fear. You can go ahead and follow me on TikTok, Maximum Fear YT. And be sure to subscribe to the channel because only 20% of you guys who watch my videos are subscribed. And be sure to hit that bell as well so you don't miss when I upload. And also feel free to check out my special Maximum Fear merchandise and coffee mugs. They're in the description down below. And shout out to my second channel, More Maximum Fear, where I post other scary content that you guys would definitely love. Alright, I hope your fear was maximized. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.